Breaking news, breaking news. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, another mall shooting. Come on in, come on in. We're going to talk about an incident that occurred in Alabama, the Western Hills Mall. Someone died because of a shootout at the food court. This is a topic that we have been covering extensively. Also, folks, there's another developing situation out of Ohio that we are monitoring. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, or if anything breaks out of this, we'll talk about this. But apparently, there has been some sort of there's an active shooting situation going on in New Concord, Ohio, and is this Muskingum University, M-U-S-K, interesting name, Muskingum University. So we'll monitor that situation as we see what's going on. I'm currently looking, but I haven't seen any live feeds. But I wanted to talk about this incident that occurred last night. Now, the day before, we were covering a terrible, terrible mass shooting, mall shooting that happened in Columbia, Maryland. And they arrested the suspect, by the way, and we have his mugshot. We will show him soon. But then last night in the food court of this mall, and it's called the Western Hills Mall. This mall is located, it's not too far from Birmingham, Alabama. Now, Birmingham, Alabama's had their history the last year of many mass shootings and shootings. We've covered the guy that did 2 mass shootings in that area in just a couple months span. So it's a suburb of Birmingham, Alabama. It's off the chain there right now. They're going to have to get this under control in that Birmingham area along the Highway 11, Bessemer, Midfield. This is Midfield. Now, this area, folks, it has a lot of gangs, a lot of youth, a lot of people, criminals that go to the mall. And even the mayor spoke out about this incident here. We'll play the mayor shortly. But I want to say that once again, I don't believe these malls around the country are safe. And I believe it's getting worse and worse. In particular, here's another incident that happened at the food court. And unfortunately, an innocent bystander that was caught in the crosshairs was hit and died. Now, and that individual's name is Darin Marques Hall. Now, folks, there is a armed suspect or suspects out there on the loose. And what's crazy about this situation, and we're a day later into this, they don't even name the name of the suspect. They don't even give us any description of who the individual is. They don't share nothing about this. And you got one person dead. One person dead, another person shot. But what's even more crazy that we're even going to talk about a little bit, there has been 3 murders at this same mall in just the last few years. Last few years, other shooting murders happening at this mall. Here it's called Western Hills Mall. What in the world is going on at the Western Hills Mall here? And why is it continue to get more and more violence? And why are more and more people losing their lives from this mall? Just like what we discussed the day before yesterday in the morning about a mall shooter in Columbia, Maryland. And that was, there was another shooting at the same mall 7 months prior where there's one suspect still out on the loose. Well, what in the world is going on with these malls? It's just not safe anymore, folks. It's not safe. Western Hills Mall. One person died. Suspect, we don't know where the person is. Where is the person? Where is the suspect? A man was shot inside the Western Hills Mall in Fairfield on Sunday evening. The shooting happened in the food court around 5 p.m. A spokesman with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office had said. So that's Jefferson County. A video posted to social media showed a Fairfield firefighter performing CPR on the man. Irby said the man was in critical condition when he was taken to UAB Hospital for treatment. Deputies haven't released any further information on the condition. Unfortunately, we got an update. I'm reading 2 news reports because it's not getting national media. These mall shootings are not getting national media attention. There is a name, and the person was pronounced dead. At least one victim was taken to Princeton Baptist Medical Center. No arrests have been made. Police are looking for a suspect. Now, Eddie Penny is the mayor who I'm going to play a clip shortly. Not yet, but I'll be playing a clip shortly of the mayor who spoke about this incident, talking about teens are finding a place to go to when they're coming to the malls. Getting pretty crazy. In 2023, a 16-year-old was killed at the same mall by 3 masked suspects, armed suspects. This is 2016. 2020, a man was shot in the parking lot at this mall. 2018, a manager at this mall was shot and killed. He was caught in a crossfire between gangs, gunfire, pop, pop. Now, as we're talking about this, I'm still monitoring the screen in reference to this shooting, possible shooting, active shooter, shelter in place at Muskingum University, Muskingum University in Ohio. We don't have a feed. We don't know what the situation is there and what is going on, but we are waiting as we get intel or as we waiting to see what's up. Mall shootings. Now we got another university incident, but we don't know the extent of that. So if we get a feed or something like that, we'll change the feed. In the meantime, I want to talk about these mall shootings that have been happening. Armed suspect wanted for a mall shooting that occurred at Western Hills. Now, Western Hills, say it's a rough, sketchy neighborhood. Does anyone know anything about the neighborhood in reference to this? Yes? No? And I'm looking and nothing I see with the university shooting at this time, other than they're saying an active shooter, but we are watching and waiting. Now, going back to this mall, innocent bystander killed, 32 years old. 21-year-old man was also shot. The extent of the injuries have not been released. 2 groups of people exchanged gunfire. Now, I'm going to play a clip, and then we'll come back to this. I'm going to play a clip of the mayor talking about this shooting here. He just spoke like an hour or so ago. So we'll hear what he has to say.
We're disappointed with that type of violence taking place here within the city. First thing I want to do is extend my condolences to the family of the young man that was the victim there, Mr. Hall. Let them know that the city of Fairfield is praying for the family.
You guys have a substation of the sheriff's office at the mall.
Right.
How long has that been there?
It's been there about a year, but all the deputies are in and out of that substation. The sheriff would have to comment further about their duties there, but they do use it. They do go in and out of that substation. Been about a year or so. Mm-hmm.
And do you know about how many stores are left in that mall? Are you familiar?
Probably about 20 stores, 20 businesses operating in there. Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like it's a popular place for the people in your city?
I think it's still a popular place for the western side, period. Probably a lot of the customers there just come from the western area, period, in addition to the city of Fairfield. You know, they have nail salons and barber shops, a lot of food businesses in our food courts, and some other very popular locations that people like to come to. So it's still, it's still fairly popular. We have food trucks out there on Sundays and Saturdays, so a lot of people like to frequent that a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen a lot of people talking on social media. They think that the mall should close. What do you think about that? Does it still bring in revenue and people to your city?
The mall is still viable. It's still bringing revenue to the city. It's a business that operates there. And, you know, if the mall were to close, it would leave a large empty facility there that the city would have to figure out a way to do something with. So, you know, we hope that we can secure it and keep the mall there as long as that is viable.
And do you plan any additional safety measures after yesterday?
Well, I've had some conversation with the owner of the malls this morning, his management team, and they are going to look at ways to try to improve the security there. They have some private security. They may have to offer some additional private securities and try to make sure that the entranceway is secure. Maybe the rear part of it need to be more secure. But situation like yesterday is just very difficult on everybody because you just can't anticipate somebody coming in and doing something violent like that. And the gentleman that was killed was actually an innocent bystander, just purchasing food. So it's just a very difficult time for us. Mm-hmm.
And throughout your time as mayor, it's almost been 10 years, right?
Almost 7 years.
Almost 7 years, okay. And throughout that time, I mean, have you had concerns for safety at the mall, other instances like these?
We have had other incidents occur at the mall, and each time, you know, we continue to work on it. That's the reason why we've been so aggressive with trying to get the sheriff's substation now. So we hope that that the visibility of law enforcement would cut down on some of the acts of violence. Unfortunately, you know, it's public violence. I mean, the Galleria, for example, have had several shootings, Walmart, different ones. So it is just so difficult to control what people will do, particularly when we're in a situation where everybody wants to protect that Second Amendment right and open carry and that kind of thing. Everybody got a gun. It's just difficult.
And you said you had talked with the sheriff's office a little bit. Do you know how many people were involved in the shooting?
It's an ongoing investigation, so I don't really have that information at this time, no more than what they have shared. I don't even know if they know how many people were involved. I'm sure they still gathering their data in terms of the numbers there. We was fortunate enough to have there was a fireman there who was also purchasing food at that time, and he tried to render some services to the victim there, CPR and that kind of thing, try to help out with that situation. So it was just a random unfortunate situation there. So innocent bystanders get caught in the middle of a crossfire. Mm-hmm.
And do you ever have community concerns about the mall? I know probably now there's going to be more, but before this?
Yeah, down through the years, there have been a lot of concerns raised by the citizens about the safety of the mall, and so unfortunately, we've watched it deteriorate. Got a new management team, and they was doing all they could to try to revive it, but you know, it's just make it a difficult situation even much tougher for us now. Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you want to add that I didn't ask?
Well, I just want to say that, you know, once again, I want to extend my condolences to the family. And, you know, we will continue to work with the owner now, meet with the council, and we will hopefully can come up with a positive way to move forward with the mall. And, you know, the city certainly want to try to maintain as many businesses as we can And so we're going to look at a positive outcome, period, for the mall and for the citizens of Fairfield.
He wasn't even looking at the camera. So that's the mayor. I mean, he's talking about the violence. Folks, we're still monitoring the situation also in Ohio. So if we get some information about an active shooter in Ohio, just like with this situation, they got a shooter still wanted for this mall shooting here. We're covering some of these crazy things that have been happening around the country in the last few days. With the situation within the university, I just want to just touch in real quick while we're talking about these mall shootings. They're saying that at this time, the sheriff's office are at the scene of this university, but haven't found any victims or haven't found any suspects. And the call came in around 6:30 p.m. So the way I'm seeing it on Twitter, I think this was probably just a prank call or some sort of something. I don't think there was actually victims out there because I don't see anything with any ambulances or anything. Plus, while this was going on, I actually went up to Flight Radar 24 and I didn't see anything on Flight Radar 24. Now that's a great tool. We were monitoring the plane landing in Rome yesterday, the emergency landing plane, or was it yesterday or the day before? So many news, you forget what day it is. Today's Monday. But yeah, this is the Western Hills Mall. Again, mall shooting. Now, this is a topic that we know quite a bit about when it comes to mass shootings, mall shootings, school shootings. And I've emphasized over and over these older type malls, the malls where you go in and you go inside and walk the hallways and everything like that. Some of these communities, they are not safe. A lot of them are depleted anyway. Matter of fact, I think this concept, the mall concept, is a failing business model. I don't think anyone does this as much. And I've also said to all of you, I would avoid the malls. I wouldn't shop at malls. I just don't go around the malls because it just doesn't feel safe going around malls anymore. But in this case, what's so crazy is we're 24 hours into this and there's still no suspects that they put out there. And this is why is this mall here? Why did this mall have 3 murders at this mall, 3 separate incidents since 2018? So you're talking a 6-7 year span and you have 3 murders at this same mall, 3 murders at this mall. How can you arguably say it's safe? You can't. But they'll never tell you this. Now, supposedly management came in here and bought it up a couple years ago and trying to spiff it up and get it more or clean and renovated or try to get space. A lot of these malls, they're begging. Look at that evidence collection unit. They're begging people to do business there. Well, it's crazy because I'm reading an old article from back in 2018 at the same mall. It's shocking. Western Hills Mall manager killed in a crossfire. 3 suspects in custody. Gunfire erupted outside the Western Hills Mall, leaving the mall manager dead on the sidewalk. Here, at this mall. An innocent victim caught in the crossfire. Dozens of bullets were exchanged at the mall's north entrance when police say 2 groups of young men recognized each other and opened fire. That's crazy too. Oh, so you recognize your arch nemesis and you just pull out guns and you start shooting. But here's sad. It's someone called, just like the one that happened here last night at the shooting here at the food court. It's just innocent people. This could be you. This could be me. This could be your child. This could be your grandparents. This could be your parents. This could be your siblings. This could be your best friend. This could be your coworker. It could be anybody. This could have been anybody. You're minding your business. You go to the food court. You get something to eat, right? And then bang, 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 bang. Ah! Everyone's taking cover, wanting to know what's going on. Right? I can't emphasize this enough, but these people, like, I don't know, the media just kind of wants to put it back in the headlines. You don't really hear stuff about this, but this stuff needs to be talked about, because you would think you want to do commerce and do business with people, and you want to think that that establishment is safe. But in reality, we walk into these places and we don't know the back history of these places. This mall here is a magnet of criminal activity. It's one dead. And that's pretty much how the media works. As long as the death count isn't up, if it's one victim, it doesn't matter. It gets buried in the headlines. Yeah, there'll be a little article about it. So, a murder at this mall, same mall, back in 2018. Multiple cars were shot up in the parking lot. A nearby car dealership also took stray bullets. And another innocent victim was grazed as he drove along Interstates 59 and 20. 3 suspects in that murder were taken off the interstate. And what's crazy, just like this mall shooting yesterday, that mall shooting happened in broad daylight. In broad daylight. Rest in peace to the victim, Anthony Alberigi, Alberigi, 59-year-old victim. So a 59-year-old victim was caught in the crossfires, right? Suspects put in custody. You would think they would tighten it up. Do they even have security at this mall? Does anyone know if they have security at this mall? They got patrols. Most malls have security, but it's crazy because I've seen so many clips and I don't even see the security guards breaking people up, breaking the fights up. Whenever there's fights, the security guard just sits there on their walkie-talkies and calls for backup and sits there and says, hey, get off, get off. That's it. Yeah, somebody said in the chat, Paul Blart. Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with security guards because I know a lot of them do great work. Private security do great work, but mall security guards, is that enough to keep these malls safe? This is the third, I'll repeat, third murder at this same mall in the last 6 years. Third murder, folks. What is going on at the Western Hills Mall? So that was an incident that happened back in 2018 at this mall. Murder. 1 injured at the same mall back in 2020 at 3:11 p.m. at the same mall. A male was shot in the arm at the parking lot of the Western Hills Mall, Fairfield, according to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Okay, so you have another. Deputies arrived and found the victim in his car suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim was shot in the arm and deputies rendered medical assistance. Paramedics arrived. That person lived, and the shooting's still under investigation. I don't believe anyone got arrested. Same mall. Hi, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. It sounds like a hangout for gangs. Yes, I agree. This mall is a magnet for criminal activity. Bandits, thugs, gang members, crazies, youth. So I'm going to read about the last incident that happened just a few years ago with the murder that happened at the same mall here. I'll get that information out for you right here. So back in 2023, so less than 2 years ago, a 16-year-old at the same mall was killed in a hail of gunfire by 3 masked suspects outside Western Hills Mall. Notice the common theme of these incidents that I share. This is the fourth. Gunfire. Not, hey, arguing. These are gunfires ringing out each and every time. Folks, this is the third murder at this mall in a 6-year span and the fourth shooting at this mall in a 6-year span. And this shooting here, or this one here, an innocent bystander in the food court, we don't even have a name of the suspect or not even a description. They don't even, why aren't they putting out the mugshot or the surveillance in the food court of the shooter? Why? You got a murder on the loose. You haven't put that information out there. This one in 2023, a 16-year-old got murdered. The teen killed in an ambush. He was 16. Victim's name not released. He was shot by 3 masked suspects. He's the 13th killed in Fairfield in 3 weeks. What? In that town itself, gunfire erupted at the Fairfield Mall outside 3:30 p.m. Witnesses say the 16-year-old boy had left the barbershop inside the mall and was walking through the parking lot when he was approached by 3 masked suspects. Well, it's not clear how the shots were fired, but investigators put down 70 evidence markers. 70. 70 evidence markers. We're still monitoring what's going on at Ohio University, but we don't have any other information on there. I don't think anything's going on. I haven't seen one. I've seen police at this university. Looks like it's one of their. Looks like it's Patton Hall. Here, we can put the scanner up. Let's put the scanner up. It's quiet. The scanner is quiet. But I do have a photo of the situation at this university. I don't think anything happened at the university. I am monitoring it. Does anyone know any information about the university shooting? Because I can see a sheriff response, but I don't see any pictures. And also Flight Radar 24 does not, I repeat, does not have any choppers in the sky. No media choppers or anything like that in the sky. JLR investigates. Come on in. All right, so let's continue to have the conversations about these shootings that have been occurring. Western Hills Mall, at the same mall here, a 16-year-old boy was killed by masked gun persons. And at this time, I don't believe they made any arrests in that case. Man shot and killed in the food court. Now, I want to put a picture of going back to Maryland. Maryland. Emmetson Zeah, Z-E-A-H. Got the dreadlocks. He's going to come on up. We're going to show him right there. Now, this is the suspect from the mall shooting that we talked about yesterday that occurred over the weekend at the Mall of Columbia. He's 18 years old. But this is pretty wild, folks, because apparently This guy was already in trouble. And he had GPS monitoring already on him. So I'll just read what it says. Charging documents. GPS monitoring placed on an 18-year-old suspect at a shooting scene outside a mall. Emmetson Zeah, Z-E-A-H, confessed to shooting victims outside the mall in Columbia. The 18-year-old suspect in Saturday's fatal double shooting at the mall in Columbia was on GPS monitoring that confirmed his presence at the scene. Huh. Digital evidence. You're cooked, pal. He has since been charged with the shooting of one victim, a 16-year-old who died. His name was Michael Robertson. So we got a name of the victim that died. And a 15-year-old who was critically injured with a gunshot wound to the head. A judge on Monday denied bail for Zeah and ordered him to be held without bond on 11 criminal counts. The charging documents state that Zeah confessed to shooting both victims, saying they were in an argument and several people, but not the victims, had guns. According to investigators, no other cases were found at the scene, and no witnesses have said that there were multiple people with guns. How did the police identify this suspect here? The shooting was reported Saturday at 6 p.m. in a parking lot near the Barnes & Nobles and a stairwell next to the bus stop. The charging documents state that detectives found 2 spent 9mm cartridge cases at the top of the stairwell. We believe the shooting was targeted and that there was one shooter. Detectives gathered descriptions of the clothing the suspect wore through witness accounts and surveillance video, which also showed a person getting out of a silver Hyundai SUV near the Barnes & Noble shortly before the shooting. Detectives also overheard a bystander say Emmetson was the shooter, the charging document said. So, yeah, he's cooked. Detectives were already familiar with this guy based off a previous investigation on a Valentine's Day shooting. The charging documents state that detectives executed a search warrant 12:35 a.m. Sunday at his apartment in Columbia, where they said they found a similar vehicle to the one seen in the surveillance video at the mall, as well as a backpack containing clothes matching the witness accounts and what the video showed. Inside the backpack, they found a gun, a handgun, matching the caliber of the cartridge cases recovered from outside the mall. How did GPS contribute to the investigation? According to charging documents, he was already on court-ordered GPS monitoring that showed he was at a bus stop in front of the Barnes & Nobles at 5:51 p.m. on Saturday. A minute later, police received 911 calls for the shooting. The charging document said the GPS records then show he was in the parking lot near Bonchon at 5:52 and moved to the AMC, the Shake Shack, and the Nordstrom. By 5:58, he reached Little Pocketon Parkway and ultimately ended up at the parking complex on Stevens Forest Road, where he stayed until 7:05. GPS records show he was home by 7:28. During the interview, he confessed to being at the mall and shooting both victims. What an idiot. As well as identify himself in the photo taken by surveillance cameras. When asked if the firearm recovered at his home would match the firearm used at the shooting, he confirmed that it would. It would. When detectives asked him about that February 14th shooting that they're accused of doing, he confirmed that he was there and that he fired a gunshot at someone who was shooting at him. Gang life. The charging documents state that police recovered evidence that only one gun was used in the shooting, and that the bullet markings matched those from Saturday's shooting. He's charged with first-degree murder, first-degree attempted murder, first-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and firearm offenses. In court, they pointed to his confession, saying that bail is not an option for the defendant. It's your confessions, folks, that get people. These idiots think they're so slick. This idiot right here literally committed a shooting at a mall, but was doing it while he was on GPS. What a moron. What's going on in reference to this shooting? In the university. JLR investigates. Come on in. As we watch what's going on. Now, there's a clip I want to play in reference to this guy here. Court records reveal Columbia teen shooting suspect was on home monitoring violations. We'll play two back-to-back clips. I'll share with you.
Information on Zeah's criminal history, and it is raising more questions about ankle monitors. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost continues our coverage on this Columbia shooting suspect.
According to court documents, Emmetson Zeah has a history with law enforcement. Police say they tracked him to the scene where the shooting took place at the Columbiana Mall using GPS coordinates from an ankle monitor he was already wearing. And that highlights something that we have been reporting on surrounding concerns with ankle monitors. But this time, it's a private home detention company in the spotlight. The details of the latest investigation outside the mall in Columbia, leaving one teen dead and another injured, highlights concerns we've heard before about the effectiveness of ankle monitors. Fox 45 News obtained this arrest warrant issued December 12, 2024 for Emmetson Zeah for a slew of charges, including attempted first and second degree murder. Charging documents reveal Zeah allegedly tried to kill another juvenile male. Police say Zeah and another suspect showed up at a schoolmate's house armed with knives, got inside, and attempted to slash and stab the victim. This incident unfolding November 28th, one day before Zeah's 18th birthday. Court records show he posted a $50,000 bond on December 16th and granted private home detention. Court records show that private home detention is the Advanced Sentencing Alternative Programs Incorporated, or ASAP. And this court document, obtained by Fox 45 News, shows a string of alleged violations for Zeah. February 13th, 14th, 18th, and 20th, and in the notice with the court filed on February 21st, one day before the latest double shooting outside the Columbiana Mall, ASAP tells the court Zeah has not been submitting verification of his whereabouts.
In this case, we have a failure by the private home detention monitoring company to swiftly alert the court if there was not correspondence between the private home detention company and the court. That in and of itself is a systematic failure.
Jeremy Eldridge, a Baltimore area trial attorney, says the apparent lack of urgency from the private home detention company highlights a systemic problem with both private and public home detention.
There exists a gap in communication when there's a violation because, frankly, the human beings that monitor these individuals don't generally work nights. They don't generally work weekends, and the courts are closed during these same hours. So we simply pretend that we're effective at monitoring these violations in cases during Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 work hours. If we have violations that occur outside of these hours, we just don't deal with them, and sometimes we end up in situations exactly like this.
I reached out to the private home detention company to ask why they waited so many days to file the notice with the court of those violations, but so far I'm still waiting on an answer. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. 18-year-old remains in custody today after Howard County police say he admitted to shooting and killing a teen and hurting another in a double shooting outside the Mall of Columbia over the weekend.
We have team coverage tonight of that story. In a few minutes, Mackenzie Frost takes a closer look at the suspect's criminal history.
Well, let's go to Fox 45. Jessica Babb joining us live with what we know about the investigation so far. Jessica?
Tonight, many in the community are grieving the life of the teen who was killed, and police say the other teen who is seriously hurt is still in critical condition. And as for the 18-year-old who was arrested for the shooting, he's still behind bars tonight, being held without bond. With gunfire erupting,
callers are advising they heard shots fired, people running,
and crime scene tape covering this spot outside of the Columbia Mall.
Earlier we had heard like a banging noise.
It was a chaotic scene.
It marks the site of a double shooting that happened Saturday. 16-year-old Michael Robertson was killed and 15-year-old Blake McCrae seriously hurt. A letter from the Wild Lake High School principal describes Robertson as a 10th grade student who was well-liked, a friend, a classmate, and football player.
Obviously, very, very sad situation.
The person accused of pulling the trigger is 18-year-old Emmetson Zeah, now facing murder, assault, and firearm charges. After a bail hearing Monday, he's staying behind bars, held without bond. Seth Hoffman with Howard County Police says,
We have a suspect who shot two people pretty much in broad daylight in a busy place, and we got him off the streets very quickly.
While the details about why this happened aren't clear, with all three teens from the Columbia area, police say they believe the shooting was targeted. According to charging docs, surveillance video put Zeah at the scene wearing a black mask and red hoodie, showing him getting out of a silver Hyundai just minutes before the gunshots started, with witnesses and other evidence pointing to him.
Since we were able to hone in on this suspect so quickly, we were able to get him at his residence later that night.
With police finding clothes and a gun that matched, court docs say Zeah later confessed to police, saying he was at the mall and shot the victims. Zeah telling police there was an argument and several people, other than the victims, had guns. But police say based on the evidence at the scene and what witnesses described, there didn't appear to be multiple people with guns. And with a criminal history, Zeah was already being tracked with GPS monitoring. So the charging docs say police were able to confirm he was at the mall when the shooting happened.
This is a dangerous person, and he's off the streets hopefully for a long time right now.
And I did ask police if Zeah was considered to be a dangerous person, especially since he's accused of committing other crimes. Why was he on the streets to begin with? Police say that's a question for the courts. Live in Columbia, Jessica Babb, Fox 45 News.
All right, so put you in perspective of what happened with that particular case. 18-year-old. The whole gist of this live is about malls and mall safety and shootings. Western Hills Mall shooting that happened, and we have a suspect that's out on the loose. Don't know the suspect's name for people who are coming in the chat. Lack of information. In the meantime, we're monitoring what in the world is going on in Ohio in reference to. All right, so let me give you an update on Ohio. It's there's someone's posting a screenshot saying that it was just a domestic issue. Building is clear. So we're trying to find out exactly. It's now safe at Finney Hall. Finney Hall. So I don't know the situation here, but we had zero footage in reference to that. Mall shooting, folks. Another suspect on the loose. Western Hills Mall, midfield. Why does this happen? Why does this continue to happen? Do you feel safe shopping at these malls? I think kids and teenagers seem to be the culprits here. Not like wackadoodle adults, though. They do this too. There's a new news report out of this mall here. Fairfield community reacts to mall shooting that claimed the life of an innocent bystander. 21-year-old was hit. 32-year-old died from Birmingham. That would be 32-year-old Darin Marques Hall. He was an innocent bystander. It's really gut-wrenching that someone would be as brazen as two groups to have gunfire in a public place, in a food court, and then an innocent bystander being killed. That's what's coming from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Investigators said two groups exchanged words, which led to gunfire in the food court. The mayor says he wants to see greater security at the indoor shopping center, and he plans to meet with mall officials. Yeah, they've said enough is enough at this mall. We're going to have to sit down with the management team here, as well as its owner, and try to discuss a security plan that would try to make people feel safe going there to shop. No gun signage, they're saying, is posted at the entrances of these malls. Oh, I got to see that. No gun signage. No gun signage at the mall. Crazy. All right, let's continue. What are they going to do? What are the people saying? They're fed up. D.L. Watts is the director of ministries with Urban Hope Community Church in Fairfield. His brother died because of gun violence. To see an innocent life taken away, it's never easy. It's always something that we grieve over, but it's the consequences of sin and the brokenness that we see in our community. Watts believes finding a solution to gun violence involves more than addressing security challenges. He says, I really believe we need a spiritual awakening in our community. People need to know that their loved ones, they're loved by their creator, but also that there's a consequence to living a life in opposition to his commands and his standards, and his results in the evil and chaos that we see in our community. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Watts says he believes the breakdown of the family in their community also needs to be addressed. The family nucleus. Man, we said that so much often. Why does these shootings keep happening? Why? Why is it every day we're talking about a mass shooting, a mall shooting, a school shooting, a retail store shooting? Why do we continue to talk about these shootings with these youth? Why? What is causing? What's in the air? What's in the Kool-Aid? This mall here, by the way, was closed Monday as a result of this shooting. The Western Hills Mall will reopen Tuesday. When we have more families that are living according to the way God is designated, I'm reading a quote from somebody. This is not my own words. When we have more families that are living according to the way God is designed family to take place, you have less of these young men that live recklessly like this and with the anger built up in their hearts. I think it's proliferation of the internet from the mid-90s on. I believe psych drugs is a part of this SSRI. I believe slaps on wrists for crime. I believe fatherless children or motherless children, the broken families. I think a combination. And I also think COVID in 2020 with the lockdowns. I think the combination of all that is causing these youth to run around crazy. We got an update coming up very shortly on this shooting. So when this comes up, we'll switch it and find out what happened up here in Ohio. There was a shooting in Ohio, so we got that in the pipeline. They say 6 minutes, there could be a press conference. So if that happens, we'll switch so we can listen to what happened. In the meantime, we're talking about the mall shooting And then that shooting up there at the university happened. So as soon as this happens, we'll switch and see what they have to say. Once again, more violence, more craziness. Police have to respond to the crime scene of these incidents. Why does it happen? How does it happen? Why does this keep happening, folks? Why does this keep happening? But going back to the youth, I mean, we got youth running around committing, and probably with this university thing that we're about to hear is probably also talking about youth, young men, young lady. By the way, the FBI has said they thwarted another attack in Houston. We're going to get some details on that. While we wait an update, we'll get an update here shortly, and we'll see what's going on. Thanks for spending time with us. JLR investigates, Magnolia investigates some sort of shooting incident. This was a shooting yesterday at a mall where there's been a series of mall shootings around the country in the last few days. Violence is ticking and upticking in my mind. What can you do to keep these places safe? Even college university campuses. Do we really got to go into metal detectors? A lot of people complain about TSA when they go to the airports and have to go through security. Would you feel comfortable going to your way of life, whether it's going to the mall, supermarket, bank, courthouse? Courthouses have been doing it. Sporting event, large gathering event, and have to actually take off your shoes. Can't bring prohibited items. Some items you can. Can't bring an umbrella. You know, they have a list of what you can and cannot bring. You have to go through the metal detectors. Almost like Fort Knox. Now, some people say, hey, they'd rather go through that to assure they're safe on the other side. How about this? Just don't go to the mall. To me, I feel like if you know your size of what you wear, it's easier just to order it online, Amazon. You can avoid all that hassle and everything like that. Amazon Prime comes right to your door within a day. Plus, there's more selection. I feel like malls and stores jack up prices anyway, overvalue. You ever eat food court food in the mall? It's like a 20, 30% markup from other places. They always like jack up the prices. Right? We got to sit here and blame guns? Is that what we're going to do? Blame guns? Or blame the people? Now, I do question, how does these wackadoodles out there, wackadoodles, and there are wackadoodles, how are these wackadoodles ending up getting access to guns? How are these people end up getting access to guns as it is? That's pretty crazy. All right, it says press conference might be coming up here in a few minutes. We're gonna switch once it comes on, and we'll listen. Once again, another incident. Something happened there in Ohio. It appears something happened. Something happened at the university. Something. At ease, officers have to use their weapon. Do we have any arrests? I will continue to monitor the scene on JLR Investigates. Mall shootings, shootings at universities, just doesn't end. Believe All right, so the sheriff puts out a statement that says, no shooting at this time. No shooting. So it might have been a hoax, false call. We'll find out shortly. We're going to get an update shortly when this pops up. So a journalist online with WSYX6 says, got a text from the sheriff there, said, no shootings at this time. And they're still investigating. Sheriffs are still looking, they said, around the campus. They're still looking and searching around the campus. Let's see. What do we got? We are waiting, folks, for a possible press conference or some sort of statement by officials. Come on in, JLR and Magnolia investigates. As we wait and see what happened. We'll find out more about, oh, by the way, while we wait, I just want to share. Apparently there was some sort of FBI thwarted another attack in Corpus Christi. They arrested an individual. Fortunately, I think the individual, well, I don't know if it's a male or female. Let me just say Andrea Gregory, a.k.a. Seth. And they arrested an individual. They say he planned an attack similar to the 2016 Dallas ambush. Wow. Now, this happened in Corpus Christi, folks. Corpus Christi FBI arrested an individual thwarting an attack. Similar to the 2016 attack in Dallas. As we await to get an update here, folks, I'm just going to sit here and wait a little bit. Wait and see exactly what in the world happened. Flight Radar 24 doesn't have any choppers in the sky there. Doesn't have any choppers. Oh. They have a med flight in the area, but not choppers as far as media outlet choppers. We're waiting to see. Was there a shooting or was it a hoax? That is the question. People are spreading out that it was one shooter, someone shot someone in a dining hall, shooter in dorm now. Police surrounded trying to get the shooter to talk to their mom so they can surrender. That's what's being passed around. We don't know the extent of that as we wait and see and wait for this press conference to come up in Corpus Christi. So we've talked about two things in this live, the mall shooting in Alabama that we have here, and we're talking about the shooting that occurred. And we're just talking about public places in general, even universities, schools. Do you feel safe out there, ladies and gentlemen? out in these public places. I'm definitely more vigilant, even when I go pump gas. Try to avoid youth. Whenever I see youth around, I have it in my mind, unfortunately, that there could be trouble. We're just living in a different climate, a different era. We all should just have our guards up. I don't want to see or hear about any of you being victims of anything. Just like myself, you know, this is a world. It's a beautiful world. But at the same time, crazy stuff out there. TikTok star from Island Boys got arrested today in South Florida for gun and drug charges. Just want to throw that information out. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the guy, Frankie Venegas, one of the Island Boys. I guess they got tattoos all over their face, really skinny guys with a bunch of horns coming out of their heads. They've been arrested. One of them been arrested. Had a gun. Shouldn't have had. Yeah, I think the Island Boys are those young guys that run around and do those pranks. A little bit out of our era, right? Majority of the audience here, we're probably in our majority. I think the average age of everyone in the chat is probably about 40. I'm waiting for this press conference to come up. There is another feed they're saying. Heavy law enforcement, the sheriff had put out heavy law enforcement at the scene. But no shooting. Heavy law enforcement at the scene. No shooting, though. Authorities are going to provide an update, though. So as we wait. Here, I'll put something up on the screen. Muskingum. You don't know if I say that right. You know, as you learn as you go, it's sometimes hard to pronounce some of these places, roads and streets. For me. Another thing that's interesting, folks, is we haven't done a boots on the ground. We haven't done a boots on the ground. I was just talking to Mike Noe. I'm like, we haven't done a boots on the ground. Haven't done a boots on the ground. But thank God nothing's really going on around the country like that crazy. But there's still a lot of things that are going on. I constantly get these Amber Alerts on my phone in Florida with missing people. But then, like, within like half hour, they say all clear. All clear, all clear. All clear. Waiting for the press conference. All right, so here you go. Here's your tweet, ladies and gentlemen. Put this up on the screen for all of you. This is the sheriff. There is a large police presence. Large police presence. But there was no shooting. Hoax, panic, false alarm, swatting. Again, I think the name of the university is a little interesting, the first 4 letters, considering all that stuff with Elon Musk. I just think that's interesting. That thing, the Musk stood out to me. Swatted. Oh, that swatting's horrible. Very, very dangerous of that swatting. They were doing swatting back in the 90s. Big thing back then, and it's bad, man, because there's people that actually resulted in losing their lives. Horrible. These kids think this swatting stuff is funny. There could be deadly consequences. People could get hurt, killed. Because you get the 911 call, and police are running to the scene. They don't know what's there, and you get the call and say someone has a gun holding their kids or wife hostage or whatever like that. Police run to the scene. Man, they pound or knock your door down. You're sitting there with a remote control or a cell phone in your hand. They might think it's a gun. And boom. Yeah, it's really bad, folks. Really bad. For sure. Come on in. We're waiting to see exactly what's going on here. JLR and Magnolia investigates. We're waiting for an update to see for sure. I'm just going to stick along and wait. I'm also monitoring all the other stuff that's going on around the country. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the crazy wackadoodles that have been arrested. Didn't do a live this morning. I apologize for that. It's tied up. But here we are with some of my favorite friends and family. You guys are part of the JLR Army. Definitely grateful, and appreciate every one of you as we see what in the world is going on. All right, so Flight Radar 24 has 0 police presence. Try to get some more info here. Ohio University. I actually ran out of cat food. I'm going to have to go and get some cat food. Emergency cat food. Usually I order. Ran out. That means I have to go to a store and venture out for OJ. Scary times. School shootings and school threats. That keeps happening too. School threats every day. I see 4 or 5. 4 or 5 incidents. Rockdale County, Georgia. Rockdale County Sheriff investigating several online threats made against Heritage High School. That just happened. Police investigate online threat at North Texas High School. And North Texas High School was placed under shelter status and had an increased police presence Monday because of a threat posted on social media. Had an incident in Leander, Texas. Bomb threats, shooting threats under investigation at Leander ISD Middle School. Well, there you go there. See what I mean? There's another one. And these are just in the last day. North Penn High School. North Penn High School. Increased security Monday at North Penn High School in response to alleged social media threat. There you go there. Huh. Where is it safe anymore? You got schools, malls, hospitals. What just happened the other day? No one has released a photograph, by the way. Speaking of the shooter up there in York, Pennsylvania, York County, how come they haven't released a shooter's face? I haven't seen them release anything on the shooter yet, except his name. We actually released the spelling of the name before they did at the press conference. Archangel Ortiz. Scanning all over the place trying to find his photograph. We should be getting a press conference here shortly. We got it. There's another one on standby. We should go find out exactly what in the world happened. Shelter in place until further notice. But I don't know if it's been actually lifted. But they said building is clear. That's what the police department has officially said, haven't said that the shooting has been cleared. Or they said it's clear, but if the building has been lifted. Building lifted or not? JLR Magnolia investigates. All right, let me continue to read to see if there's other incidents. Landrum Middle School in Florida. Landrum Middle School on lockdown Monday morning after an alleged shooting threat. So now we have Florida. The St. Johns County Sheriff's Office investigating a phone call that resulted in full lockdown of the middle school. Who the heck would make a threat to a middle school? A bunch of idiots. Oh, we got an Indiana case. Napanee teen arrested for making a threat at Bremen Middle School in Napanee, Indiana. Indiana's had a bunch of threats at their school. Oh, Schenectady, New York. Schenectady student, 14, arrested for Snapchat threat to bring handgun to school. A 14-year-old Schenectady student had been arrested for threatening another student via the social media app Snapchat. What is up with Snapchat? And these youth using Snapchat to make their bomb threats. What is up with that? Are we going to get anything out of this or not? As we wait to find out what happened with this incident in Ohio, that's what we're waiting for. The media has a feed that they say is on standby. We're just waiting. But I want to listen to see exactly what happened, why and how. Hello, hello, JLR investigates. Come on in. You guys see the video of Alec Baldwin snapping? That was pretty crazy. I put it on my I just put the video out. Pretty wild. Alec Baldwin snapping, threatening to snap someone's neck. Pretty wild. You would think that he would stay out of the news, right? Anyone that gets acquitted, I mean, he got, I mean, I guess the state withholding the bullet stuff was a violation there of his rights that resulted in his case being dismissed during the middle of the trial. I've never really seen anything like that. I don't know if you guys seen it. They might not even be putting a press conference out. I don't know. We're sitting here waiting to see if we can get any information about this particular incident, but we probably don't. So we're just sitting here waiting. Scouring it through one more time, talking about our mall shooters, our school shooters, and our mass shooters out there. Tomorrow we'll do a whole report with mugshots of people. We'll be back tomorrow for that. For sure. Go around and look here. See if we got anything up in Facebook here. Nope. It's almost like nothing. Nothing at all. All right, well, I'm figuring the shooting is nothing and nothing, so that's good. But at the very least, we got to expose the mall shooters tonight. And if anything else breaks on any of these cases, we'll come up with a feed and we'll talk about it on JLR Investigates. Stay safe out there, folks, and stay vigilant. Magnolia, if you could blow me up, I just want to say goodbye to everyone. Magnolia is running the chat, doing a wonderful job. All right. And we'll take down this tweet. Hello, everyone. JLR Investigates. Sub to the channel, like, hit the notification button. Monitoring here, reporting from the JLR Batcave. Anything else breaks with any of these shootings or craziness, you'll hear it here on JLR Investigates. We get an update, we'll share with all of you. Thanks for watching. Thank you, members. Thank you, subs. Everyone that contribute. JLR Army, stay safe out there. Stay vigilant. Be back when something else breaks. Take care.